I'm Swati Singhania and this is my channel. This video series is all about how to decide which legal form of entity is best for your organization or your startup. So in this video today, we are going to talk about sole proprietorship, which is the most easiest form of legal entity that can be formed in our country. In this video, we are going to tell you what are the basic requirements you need to form that entity, when you should choose to form a sole proprietorship, and when should you know that it is time to move on from sole proprietorship to a bigger or a more complex form of legal entity. Now, before I tell you in detail, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button because your appreciation is all that we are looking for. So let's start understanding about sole proprietorship. What is sole proprietorship? As the name suggests, it basically means when there is only one person involved. So when you are starting your business all alone and you know that you are not going to infuse any partners anytime soon, or at least that's not there in your plan, and also you are not looking for any investors who would come in as part owners of your organization, that is when you should choose to start sole proprietorship. You can also choose to start a sole proprietorship when you are not sure of how long you are going to continue in that business. So let's say some ideas that you have, you know that they are super good, but you would want to test the market before you go full on with it. Also, there would be some ideas which you are not sure how they will conceive in the future. And so it's important to give them a semi-formal kind of a role, and that is when sole proprietorships come into place. So now that you know when you should choose to start sole proprietorship, and if you are in that stage, let me tell you all the benefits of sole proprietorship, then let me tell you the limitations of sole proprietorship, and if you are convinced by then that you want to start a sole proprietorship, I will tell you how to start a sole proprietorship, and at the end of the video, we'll give you a comparison chart of sole proprietorship with the other form of legal entities that we are going to cover in this series of the video. So here are the benefits. The most important benefit is that it's the most easiest form of legal entity that can exist, under which any business can be carried forward. So it is almost like you are starting a business, but you want to do it all in your name only. And so instead of picking up just my name, so let's say I start a business and instead of calling it Swati Singhania, I want to give it a little more legal form, and that is where I go ahead and register a sole proprietorship. Now, this sole proprietorship could be in any other name. It could be Singhania and Clothes, it could be Singhania Designs, it could be Singhania Consultancy, or any other name that you choose to. For choosing the name of sole proprietorship, you don't really need to check on any legal availability. So, for example, when you are choosing a private limited company, you need to check if the name is available. But when it comes to sole proprietorship, you can choose any name that you want. But remember, while you're choosing these names, it should not clash with any branding guideline. For example, keeping it as Tata Services is not going to help because Tata is a registered brand in our country. So remember, there would be other rules also which come into existence as soon as you register it in a legal form. So the most important benefit is it's very easy to form it. Second, it's very easy to maintain it. There are much lesser formalities, there are much lesser regulations that apply to it. In a sole proprietorship, you do not have a compulsion of quarterly, monthly returns that you have to file with or any other statutory body. All you have to do is income tax and GST and such commercial taxation which you would be registered with. And GST would also come into place as you cross a particular revenue targets. So in a nutshell, it's very easy to form it and it's very easy to maintain it. And you can also grow to as much as possible. There is no amount of limitation. So there is no maximum limit when it comes to sales and capital target when it comes to sole proprietorship. So even if you have a turnover of 100 crores in a sole proprietorship, it's totally okay. But you need to remember the limitations that a sole proprietorship offers before you are completely convinced that sole proprietorship is the form of entity you would be forming for your business. Now let's talk of limitations when it comes to sole proprietorship. The most important limitation is that the sole proprietorship cannot have an investor. So you cannot issue shares to an outside party. You cannot have a partner in your sole proprietorship. It is going to be always managed, controlled by one person. You can always hire employees, yes, but you cannot have anyone other than you in the owner bracket. So that is the biggest limitation of sole proprietorship. The second limitation is that all income tax calculations of a sole proprietorship firm are clubbed with the owner or the sole proprietor. So if I am the sole proprietor and I start a sole proprietorship, let's call it Singhania Consultancy. So all the income that Singhania Consultancy generates will be added to my income tax calculation, and so my income tax that I pay to the government will have to be a total of my personal income plus the income that Singhania Consultancy generates. So you understand, most of the times it is not really suggested if you think your proprietorship firm has really grown to a level where the tax is a very good and substantial amount. Also remember that the PAN number of the sole proprietorship and the sole proprietor, which is the owner, is the same. They are not different PAN numbers. So when you are registering a sole proprietor, which we are going to tell you shortly in this video, your own PAN number is given to register that sole proprietor. So if you see from an income tax point of view, you and your sole proprietorship firm are one common entity. They are not different people for PAN number or income tax point of view. Yes, but you can take GST registration in your sole proprietorship firm and there would be different calculation. Now let me tell you the next limitation of sole proprietorship firm. When you start a sole proprietorship firm and you think that it's grown to a particular level and you want to transfer one of its business to another entity, that is not possible. So for example, a private limited company can sell off one of its business if they have 2 or 3 businesses in the same company. But when it comes to a sole proprietorship firm, you cannot transfer a business. You can only transfer the asset. So if your firm owns an office or a house or even a car, that asset can be sold to another organization, but the business. So basically, if I have to summarize both the positive and limitations of sole proprietorship firm for you, the best benefit is it's very easy to start and maintain a sole proprietorship firm. However, it is very limited to one-person management and it's very difficult to expand it and use it as a growing organization and add investors and partners to it. So it has its limited scope of expansion, and as you think that you are expanding, as you think that your turnover is growing, you should consider converting the sole proprietorship firm to another form of entity, which we are going to tell you in the next section of this video. If you're still watching this video, that means that you've convinced yourself that sole proprietorship is the form of entity that you would be starting. So now let me tell you how to register a sole proprietorship and what are the documents you need to start it. So it is very simple. If you are an Indian citizen and you have all your basic documents like PAN card, like Aadhaar card, and let's say a rent agreement for where you're going to start your office, this is all you need to register a sole proprietorship firm. So your PAN number is going to be used to register it as sole proprietorship firm. Now, how can you really open a bank account and start working? Because yes, you need a bank account for doing any amount of transaction, and I have been recommending in all my videos. So also, if you have been a freelancer till now and you were using your personal bank account for all the transactions, do check out this video where we have told how can freelancers manage their funds to ensure a smooth entrepreneur journey. Now, before you open your bank account for the sole proprietorship firm, you need to get 1 or 2 more registrations done. So basically what the bank is looking for is that you are a commercial organization and you have registered yourself. So I know you have your PAN number and Aadhaar card, but before you go ahead and open a bank account, either you can register with a Shop and Establishment Act, or you can get a trade license, or you can even get a MSME registration. If you get any of these in place, so basically putting it as a list for you, you should have your PAN number or Aadhaar card. You should have a rent agreement to prove where your office address is going to be, where the bank is going to send all the correspondences relating to that particular bank account, bank statements, etc. And also you need to have one registration which could be under Shop and Establishment Act, which could be as a trade license, or it could also be a MSME registration. All these registrations are very simple and are now happening online also. So go ahead and do those registrations and then go ahead and open your bank account. Once you have your bank account in place, this is where you can start your transactions. Ensure that your proprietorship firm bank account is different from your personal bank account, as we have said in this video. Otherwise, all the finances are messed up between each other, and that is where you really don't know what is your business money and what is your personal money. And then doing all personal finance planning completely goes for haywire if you have not maintained these separately. So ensure that you maintain your bank account separately. Now, the last stage of this video, where we tell you when you've expanded enough in that sole proprietorship firm, what are the entities that you can expand or converge to. So once you think that you've grown out of that sole proprietorship firm, your turnover has crossed a particular level and you are looking for an investor or you're looking for a partner and you don't think the sole proprietorship firm entity is doing justice to that, you can convert your sole proprietorship firm to either a partnership firm or a one-person company. We are going to bring in videos where we are going to tell you in detail about these both entities and how to form them and what are the benefits to it. But a sole proprietorship firm can be converted. So it cannot be a full conversion, it can be a partially conversion to either a partnership firm or to a one-person company. What suits you is something that you have to decide. Remember, no one can guarantee success, but all we can do is ensure that your learning curve is smaller and your entrepreneur journey is smoother. So this is how you start a sole proprietorship, and this is when you start a sole proprietorship firm. So here is a summary of this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Until then, have a great day.